Hello there. I'm filming from my grandma's house in Connecticut today, and I just wanted to shortly talk about something on here because I just want to film every day, because consistency is a good thing apparently. And I don't really have any direction in this video of what to talk about, so I don't know. I'm like too tired to even think of anything. My boyfriend and I found a baby turtle and we put it in the reservoir that's right next door to my grandparents' house because it was in the middle of a dirt parking lot. And my boyfriend found it when he was outside, so then he brought me out there and showed me it. And yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what to talk about, but there's only one topic that I can remember I was thinking of talking about, and it was a negative topic that I didn't really know if I wanted to share because, I don't think people are really interested in hearing negativity or any negative things, but I guess I'll share it just to document my own personal experiences and memories. Also, don't mind if you can hear whoever the heck is talking outside. The window's open, so there's a lot of people around here that talk, Well, I guess I could talk about what I went through when I was younger. It was kind of weird, and I was never really diagnosed with anything. I only told my doctor that I got panic attacks for years straight, once or something, and she never really said anything about it. To receive a diagnosis, it takes a long time, or at least talking to the right person, and they're not really available everywhere. And diagnoses are just labels that mental health practitioners and professionals like to give individuals who seek them because it's easier to categorize them and then prescribe them medications given their history and diagnosis. And I think it's all just a money thing though. I think most people know that, but anyone who's rich doesn't admit it because if they're at the top of it, then they don't want to admit that there's flaws in their system because they're enjoying life off of the system. And if you're at the bottom of it where you don't have that much money, then you want to do what you can to change it. But the only thing that really gives people power in this world financially would be money. But life isn't all financial, even though modern society will try to brainwash you into believing that. I mean, it's definitely a big thing to worry about. But at this point, I'm more worried about money, not as to how much of it I have and am I gonna have enough of it. I'm worried about it as what is it doing to our planet? Because people are so afraid to speak their opinion now and just say what's on their mind because they don't want to get judged or I don't think you can get imprisoned in this country, obviously, because freedom of speech, but there's just a lot of backlash or a lot of stuff that could come from saying certain things. If you were to be interviewed on the internet for any reason, you might only choose to say certain things because you don't want to risk people at where you're working seeing it and then possibly losing your job if you say something wrong. So it's people aren't really able to be their genuine selves and just speak truth because the economic world we have is built off of a lot of strict rules, and honestly sometimes not even rules. People will just they'll say something is one thing when it's really not. they'll try to create a problem out of what laws do exist just to get what they want. And it's like, I mean, most people believe in it because that's how we're like programmed to think. But like, I was raised in a log cabin in the middle of the woods with 2 parents that most people consider weird. And so, like, my dad was always the mean one. And yes, I jumped topics pretty quick, but it's all connected. Just in one lifetime, I don't know if I could piece it all together to be visible as like the orb that it is, or just to straighten it out to be visible as a straight line, because you can only see half of a sphere at one single time. Unless you spin it around, you know. Anyway. So obviously I'm different because I was raised differently than everyone else. And, well, my dad was very book smart. And anyone who doesn't believe in book smarts is just because you didn't excel or do even well at school, and you just didn't try and prove to yourself that it's worth it and that you're actually able to learn stuff. And like, if you have a lack of trust in education, in facts, like, I just think that's kind of naive, and it comes from something other than smarts, obviously. And yeah, but I have this sense or feeling that most of the issues in my life are derived from my mother, who in later years where I was able to talk to her, told me that she did not console me or comfort me when I was a baby crying. And that's a wound that affected me that goes really deep. And honestly, I feel like I can remember that now. And if that's only like a dream or just some figment of my imagination that my mind has created to have the same sense of a memory, that might be it. My dad is smart, but he also told me that my experience that I had, where it was trauma that he inflicted upon me, was not real. And it was unbelievable because obviously it's a memory in my head that happened when I was probably 5 or 6. And I read a comment by a like therapist or psychiatrist that said when victims speak about trauma, they usually talk about the smells, sights, and like feelings or something. And I remember the smell, and I did even before I saw that comment. And just because that one comment said it doesn't mean it's necessarily true, but like still. Anyway, I literally just keep talking in circles, I feel like, about just different topics. That's what happens when you have no guidance or direction in a video, guys. I have to start like brainstorming and writing down ideas of like topics I should just focus on for one video, so that I'm not going in endless directions in one video. Because I am gonna have to start titling these videos like the global industry of a female brain or something like that, which is what I'm gonna title this one, because it's random and creative and whatever. I don't care if it gets views or not. But yeah, I'm visiting my grandparents and I'm really tired, like I said. And I've always wanted and wished that I could have like a camera on me my entire life at all times to see how I act in every situation, and then be able to reflect upon it so that I could better myself. Because I feel like if you're just living your life naturally without ever recording yourself and seeing yourself speak and talk and communicate and interact with others and do everything that you do in your daily life, it's fine and it's like normal. But if you do that, it's like an extra step where you're able to look back on it and see how you act from the outside perspective's point of view, and you're able to like change yourself based off of that information. And I think it's really cool, and I'm just interested in doing that because I always want to be a better version of myself so that I can become the best version of myself ultimately. And I just want to get really deep and personal in these videos. I don't really have any friends, and I don't talk to my parents anymore. I haven't for like a few years now, a little over a year, pretty much. So I don't really have anything to lose in filming these, and I don't think anyone I know is ever gonna see these anyway. So other than my boyfriend, who already knows everything about me, and I just think there's something about just being able to share your true, just 100% with everyone and not feeling like you have to filter yourself or put up a wall against who you really are, a mask. I just think it's really nice, and I appreciate everyone who lets me do that. And I've struggled with being 100% honest in the past because I was coming off rude, and I purposefully was saying things that I knew were rude, and I just didn't choose to change those actions anyway. And it really made me feel scared and paranoid, like especially at night, living at where I used to live. I was kind of like in fear that people who saw my content on Instagram, which is where I put that stuff, I used to write like long captions, like the weirdo I am. And I don't want to start saying that word again because that word is so like generic and elementary, and yeah, I don't want to go back there. But it's okay. I tend to have a lot of ideas and views that come from places I don't really understand. And for a while in my life, I doubted myself, and I believed the words of the uneducated, just jealous people in my life, where I had a very small group of people in all times of my life, and they were different people at all times of my life. But some people would kind of... There was one person who blatantly said that they thought I had a very serious medical condition. And looking back at that now, I haven't seen her in a long time, but I can imagine who she is or has become. I reached out to her once, and it's kind of sad. And it's sad that I wasted so much of my life doubting myself and believing in people who also wanted to see me doubt myself, because they were jealous, and they can't accept that because it hurts too bad when someone doesn't have a parental figure in their life that they really wish they could. I don't have that wound though, so mine's different. And honestly, I think most people, I shouldn't say most people because it's actually every person, comes from somewhere that's only known to us in our dreams, because our actual physical mind can't, at the infant age, create memories that will last into our adulthood, I don't believe. Maybe, I don't know. But our imagination can bring us back there, collecting data from what we learn as our brain develops and is able to create those memories that last into adulthood.